Hi, welcome to Quilting with Lori. My name is Lori Dickman. Thank you so much for stopping by my quilting studio here today. I'm going to be working on a fun little project for the month of March. This is table runner number 3 for the year, and this is the March table runner. You can make it as a table runner, or if you choose to just make the shamrock and one of the blocks, you could have a reversible pillow or even a little wall hanging, whatever you choose to do with it. It's going to be a fun one. I've gone through my scrap stash. I have found some fabrics in my stash that I'm using. You don't need much in the way of fabric for this project. It's a very quick and simple one. So in a minute, I'm going to take you to my tabletop and we'll get started on this. But before I do that, I just wanted to mention this weekend I'm going to be putting a video up on my channel, which will take you through how I cut, sort, and organize when I have projects in mind, some quilt projects that I know I need to get my scraps cut for. I'm going to give you some tips on how I proceed with that. I think about those projects that I have that are coming up and what I need in order to be able to create those projects. So I'm going to walk you through some of those steps. So come on back this weekend. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, you'll want to do that so that you'll get notified when I upload that video. So these are the fabrics that I've chosen for this project. I just had some remnants, about a yard each is what I had in my stash, and I won't actually be using that much of any of it, but I pulled that out for March. They're perfect fabrics for the month of March with the shamrocks and the leprechauns, etc. And I guess Snoopy is in this one as well. And so I've got the light fabric and the dark fabric to make this fun block here. So we'll be making 2 of those blocks. I've just laid it out for you here on this little mat. So there's four patches, and there are 4 rectangles per block, as well as the center square. And these are all 2.5-inch squares, and these rectangles are 2.5 by 4.5 inches. So that is how those blocks will go together. We'll make 2 of them. I have what I need here for the second block. I also have cut a 10.5-inch square of the light background, and I have a square, where'd it go? Here it is, which I am going to use to get the applique piece, and this is the shamrock. And what I'm going to do for this shamrock piece, I am going to actually use a cord. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to use yellow or white, but I'm going to teach you how to couch the cording to create this little design here on the block itself. There's just a swirly design, and I'm going to use the couched cord to do that. So when we applique, I'm just going to use a simple fusible applique to prepare this block, and then I will couch that cord, and I'll show you how that's done. For those of you who are new to my channel, as I was mentioned about scrapping up my stash this weekend and also pulling from my scraps here, there's an easy way to get your scrap stash cut, sorted, and organized. And what I like to do is cut up all my remnants of fabrics, previous projects. And I like to get those scrapped up into certain sizes and get them organized by value and get them stored and ready to be able to pull them for future projects. And so that this weekend I will be following the techniques that I have in my Speedy Solutions to Cut and Organize Your Scrap Stash. This is a booklet I have on my website. This is a corresponding patterns book, so you can check that out on my website. I'll have a link below, but there's also a video tutorial that walks you through this step by step, so I'll link those as well. So you'll see that, and you can take a look at that. But that's what I like to do. I like to go through the remnants. I always save all my remnants, and I save crumbs as well. I have a basket of crumbs that I use for crumb quilting, and that's another project that's coming up probably Monday or Tuesday. But what I'm going to do for this first block here, it's all 2.5-inch squares. You can use basically lights and greens from your stash. You don't have to use the shamrock fabric that I have, but since I had it, I decided I wanted to use it, so I have. I'm going to get these 4 patches put together, and then you can sew in this little cross here. You'll sew this rectangle in between these 2 4 patches, this rectangle in between these 2 4 patches, and this square in between these 2 rectangles, and then you'll just sew it all together. Very simple block to make. It's a great beginner-friendly block. I'm making my 4 patches, and I just wanted to quick share with you that I'm cutting the little string that bound them together, and then I'm simply twisting that seam allowance to create the pinwheel there. Let me show you that again with the rest of these. So I've cut the little string that bound them. That was my last seam allowance. And I've twisted the seam, and that opens it up to create that pinwheel, which allows that middle seam to lay nice and flat. So I highly recommend that you try that if you haven't done that. So I'm cutting that thread, twisting, and that just opens that up so I can press it. And here is the last one. Cutting that last thread, twisting, and opening it up. And there's the pinwheel. All right, I've got these 4 patches ready. I have them pressed, and you press them either counterclockwise or clockwise, depending on how that last seam was sewn. And so I've got them ready. When you do place them in the block, make sure that you're creating the cross. And here is this rectangle for the center. And now I'm going to attach these rectangles in between each of these. But again, be very careful that as you're sewing them, that you're sewing them like this so that they don't get out of order. And I mean, you could move them around if you wanted to create a different design. That's kind of a nice design too. But if you're wanting to follow the pattern, then you'll just want to make sure that all of the darks create the cross. So I'm going to finish this block, make the second block, and get it pressed and squared up to 10.5 inches. I have these 2 blocks finished, and they're pressed and squared up to 10.5 inches. So those 2 are ready to go. Now I'm going to be working on the center block, which will be this 10.5 inch background square that's ready to go. And what I need to do, I've traced the shamrock on the paper side of the fusible. This is the fusible side of this adhesive. And I am going to press this to the wrong side of this green square here and press that on there. When it's cool, I will cut it out on the drawn line, and then I will be able to center that onto the center of this square here. I'm going to go ahead and press creases horizontally and vertically in here as well. Let me go do the pressing, and I'll be right back. I have pressed the creases into the center block here, vertically and horizontally. It'll just help me to place my shamrock on there so that it's centered. You could certainly make it straight up and down. I might put mine on a little bit of a tilt here. I did trace these lines on, so once it's cool, which I've cut it out on the dark lines, it is now cool, so I can basically remove the paper from this, and the adhesive is stuck on the back of this fabric. And so I can place it on here and decide where I like it. Something like that. And when I get up to the iron, that, I'll make sure that it's all evenly spaced in how I like it before I press it. Once you press it, it's permanent. So once that's done, then I'm going to use a green thread. This is a beautiful rayon thread, and I'm just going to do maybe a zigzag stitch around here. I don't know that I'm going to take the time to do a satin stitch. A satin stitch would be beautiful. I don't know that I'm going to take the time to do that, just a nice zigzag stitch, I believe. And then I am going to do and if you can see it on this side, these are these little curly cues in the shamrock itself. And I'm going to do those curly cues with, I probably am going to go with this gold here. It'll pick up the yellow gold in the pattern itself. And so I'll put those on there, and I'll show you how to use your standard foot to couch this. We'll couch it with a zigzag. Most people everybody has a standard foot on the machine. Not everybody has a couching foot. For some sewing machines, a couching foot is an extra, it's an added foot that you might not have. So I'm going to show you how to couch this cord on the block itself using a zigzag and your standard foot. I have zigzagged all the way around the outer edge of the green shamrock using a green thread, and it's just a zigzag stitch that's a 3.0 wide and a 1.0 in width. So it's a tighter zigzag, but not a blanket stitch where it's really, really tight. Now, I've done one of the cording right here, and this is cording that I think I got this at Hobby Lobby, and it's called Ribbon FX. It's polyester acrylic. I really don't know what else you'd call it, but there's a ridge to it. There's a center ridge in the center of it there. So that is the cording. It's probably 1/8 of an inch wide, and it frays on the edge. So when you get started, you need to really zigzag back and forth over and over the beginning and the end so that that doesn't come apart. And I kept the same, no, actually I didn't. My stitch length, I made it 3.5 in the zigzag width, and I kept it at 1.0. And so I simply just zigzagged this entire, I couched it onto this particular leaf of the shamrock. So I'm going to show you how I did that. I'm going to start here. Let's see, I think I'm going to go the same direction. I'm going to start right there. And I just started holding it as I went around. I didn't really follow the pattern. I didn't draw anything on my shamrock. I simply just got started. I've put an open toe foot here, only so that it would allow you to see a little bit better what I'm doing. And I think I'll bring the camera down here closer in a second. I had my standard foot on there, but it kind of hid what my needle and so forth is doing. So I put an open toe foot on there just so that you can see what I'm doing. I've placed the end of this cord underneath my foot there, and I've already started zigzagging with that 3.5 wide and 1.0 in length. So it's a shorter stitch lengthwise, a wider stitch going across the cord. And I'm going to go back and forth on this a little bit because I want to make sure that it is secure, and then I'll have to trim away some of that fuzz because it is quite fuzzy at the end there. And I think I just got myself stuck here, so I'm going to have to get myself moving. There we go. I had too much there for it to continue sewing. There we go. Now we're moving. So the cording is just underneath. I am turning it and stitching as I go. Cording is basically bias, so you can certainly move it any way you need to on your project. You want to make sure that whatever you do choose will move on the bias in any direction very nicely. Now I'm at a point where I think I'm only going to need about that much. So I'm going to trim away. I might have too much on there, but I'm going to get rid of that and keep sewing. And then I will just backstitch quite a bit when I feel that I'm done. I've got a flaw in my thread. I'm going to need to get rid of that. All right, I had to trim away the flawed thread. It frayed there, and so that had to get removed, and I rethreaded. And I'm just continuing to hold this as I work my way around in a circle. None of these circles are going to be identical, and I don't really mind that. If you want your circles to be identical, then you'd want to trace from the pattern onto the top of the right side of your fabric here so that it is visible to you as you're doing this applique, or couching, I should say. Now, I think I'm just about where it is over on this other side. So now I'm going to backstitch and forward, backstitch and forward. That's quite a bit of stitching there, but I just want to ensure that it doesn't fray. Now I will trim this away and trim that away. You could also use some fray check if you feel you need to. I don't know that I'm going to need to on this. I trimmed it up nice and closely to the back stitching, and it seems to work just fine. So I've done 2 of them. I'll cut away this excess right here, and then I'm going to come and do this one as well. I finished the little table runner. Very simple to do. I put the 2 blocks on the outside of the shamrock block, and when I quilt this, I'll have a nice little area here that I can do some echo quilting in, or maybe a motif of some sort. I'll probably do echo quilting more than likely. And then I just put a simple 2.5-inch border all the way around the quilt. Very simple to do. You can make this in an afternoon. I'd love to see some of your couching, so go ahead on my Facebook group page, Quilting with Lori, Scrap Up Your Stash, and post some pictures out there of the projects you're making, this project, any project. I love to see scrappy projects out there, and everyone really enjoys sharing what they're working on. It's very inspiring, so hope to see that out there on my website. If you do enjoy the content that I provide, please don't forget to like and subscribe and comment below. I really enjoy reading everything from my viewers. So until this weekend, you all have a wonderful couple of days, and happy quilting.